What is going on, everybody? We are back in the PTU, and we finally have experience missions on the whole sea. So we're gonna go really put the load on this thing and see how it performs. It's done really well with, you know, rookie, junior, member. But let's see if it can handle its own size loads, the big boys. Alright, as we're approaching in real quick, let's go ahead and try to grab one of these big experience contracts. Yeah, there we go. 4,290 SU from Everest to Magnus. Double tap. There it is. Yeah, that is the method, man. If you guys are wondering where the box isn't coming up, bind request cargo loading to your keyboard or sticks and just double tap it. Sometimes you have to hit it 3 or 4 times, but the box has always come up for me, which is nice. Is that a random Gladius in my... What the hell? There's like Gladius in my cargo grid. That better not cause any... Oh, no, there we go. She's loading. Nobody move. 690k efforts to pyro. Yep, that's what we're loading up now, and she's filling up, and I'm just not touching anything because I don't want to look at her the wrong way and make the Maggie C mad, and then she stops loading. This is looking good, though. Once that grid comes back, I know we should be basically done. I see all the splines filling up, which... Oh, man, it feels good to see this thing filling up. Oh, that's exciting. Okay, it says we're complete. We got our blue box back. She's looking mighty full. Let's go. How's that for a sight, my friends? Loaded up on that hydrogen. Also, seriously, thanks for the tip about getting out of the chair and getting back in the chair. Caught that one of your videos a while back, and it's a lifesaver. Hell, yeah. You got to thank my buddy Captain Kuza for that one. It was so funny because he showed me it actually in real time because I had his stream up on Discord, and we were both in his M2. And out of nowhere, I noticed my stuff wasn't moving. Like, I was stationary in the yellow belt, and I was watching him still flying and moving around. And I was like, what the hell? So he hopped out of his pilot seat, and my game, like, rubber banded and caught up, and then we were both moving again. It was the weirdest thing. So that is part of my process, you know, part of my troubleshooting, so to speak. What we're going to do is boost to, let's say, about 50%. Now we're going to go turn and burn. She pitches pretty well, but that inertia will start to keep you moving, so you want to sort of feel out where you might need to start letting off of the stick as you're coming back around. Back around. There we go. That feels like a good compensation. Nothing behind us. Line her up. And we'll wait a second before we start boosting out. 240 or so meters per second. Everyone got their juice? If you've seen Expanse, you know what I'm saying. Alright, let's go. It's awesome to be able to actually use this maneuver because you sort of need to. Alright, we're approaching 100 meters a second. Once we get down to about 50, we will stop. Yep, everyone sit, prepare for flip and burn. That was, oh man, that scene with the Canterbury is one of the dopest things, man. That was pretty good though, sweet. Put us up kind of right here next to it. And get that thrust vector indicator down where I want it. All right, we're gonna engage our park and brake. Oh, it's happening. It's happening, my friends. That cargo is dumping. I know I'm trying, Daniel, I see it. I'm like trying not to get too excited because we're climbing up. We're so close to this being completed. Oh boy, that just happened. Objective complete. And look how light we are. We're tearing out of here like a freaking drag racer. Boom! Magnus to Terra. Hey! There we go. That gets us from Magnus to Terra, and then we can do Terra to Magnus. Can you give us a quick verbal rundown of what to do and what not to do with the whole sea? I'd love to know prior to playing this on live when it's out. And hey, that's the one I just did. Yo, what's up, Alex? So yeah, let me go ahead and set in our course here. But yeah, I definitely, Daniel, I'm gonna run. I'll give you a rundown once we get this loaded and as we're going through. I actually took notes for a tips and tricks video I'm gonna make shortly after live goes live. And I'm going to try to provide examples of all those things that I've encountered, which a lot of you might have already known. But if I can help like people who are just getting into the whole sea, or even bring some information to people that have been using it that didn't try something, that'd be sick. Might have to give her a little vertical wiggle. I've come to find out that I seem to have better luck with a vertical wiggle when you need to register as stopped than a forward and backward. So there's one tip. Let me go ahead and put in our navigation. Terra. Yeah, this is the longer jump too. Now it says cargo transfer complete, and that looks like a hefty load. I think we're good. So here we go. General tips around bed logging and ship state. If you have cargo like this, and you for whatever reason need to leave your server to try to resync it like we do with like bounties and such, don't do it. Because what happens, one of the only physical issues with the whole C itself is when you bed log and log back in, or Alt F4 and log back in, or any reason you get kicked out and you put back in, it puts you in a closed ship state and you can't open. And there is a chance that you can go to your dock and actually dock, store the ship, and call it back out and it'll have its cargo. But a lot of the time for me, and I'll actually have some footage of this because I caught it on video. Hopefully I kept it. Really hope I kept it. But when it docked, it glitched to where the engines like split. So there was like a ghost version of the splines and engines on top of the others. And then the ship blew up. Or I tried to leave and then it went into the station and blew up. So ship state after you bedlog or leave the game, if you have cargo or Alt F4ing, breaks badly. So you want to make sure you get rid of all of your cargo that's on board. Even if it's bugged, it might be annoying, but it'll save you the trouble of claiming your ship and waiting 15 minutes. Get the cargo off, close your ship, then bedlog or Alt F4. Don't do it with your splines open. I'll run through the rest of these real quick. Make sure you actually go into your options and you assign this button to your keyboard or mouse or sticks. Where I think it's under flight movement. You're gonna scroll down under flight movement. It'll be because you have request landing and request cargo loading. It's I think it's default. It is right Alt N. I have it bound to my sticks, and that's what I've had to double or triple tap to get the box to spawn, but it's never failed to spawn in this patch. A single touch might not work, calling it through the MFDs might not work, but double tapping or triple tapping it on my stick has worked every time. For control tips, vertical strafe is better than lateral strafe. Watch your speed, turn and burn timing and clearance is going to be very useful. Mission tips. I suspect that dual pickup and drop missions are what's causing an issue with the stations eating the cargo or it not completing properly. So like where you have to go to Tressler and Seraphim to pick up and then go drop off at Aorus. You don't really do that with whole C grade missions. That was mostly what I was encountering with the junior and member stuff that I was playtesting the whole C with. The double pickup and drop off stuff was the only thing causing a problem. I would run through 9, 10, 11 contracts fine if I was just stacked, because you could stack. I had like 5 missions worth of cargo on the whole C, but they were single pickup and drop off missions. They weren't the ones where you picked up and dropped 2 different areas. Selecting contracts during quantum will make it a reduced list, which is really great. That's what we were actually just talking about. For travel tips, being aware of pirates. As the whole C becomes more useful, pirates are going to become more interested in what whole C pilots are doing. So you're going to want to focus on something called doglegging when you're going point to point. And basically what that means is you're not going to want to take the quick short path like we're doing here. Quantum snares and quantum dampening have about a 20 or 15 to 20 kilometer radius, I believe. So like going from Magnus to Dogleg, you would want to set course for another station and then cut quantum and then set course for your main station. You don't have to fully jump to the station you're going to. In fact, cutting in between is even better because there's no way somebody's going to get to you. So anywhere you're going, you dogleg it by creating a bend in your travel route. And you will never have somebody interdict you because there's no way they would. The distances we're dealing with are too great. So if you especially like let yourself go, maybe 10 megamics or megs as I call them, megometers, whatever, and then cut to your main station, that gives you such a distance change that there's no way you're going to get quantum snared or trapped, and pirates won't be able to counter doglegging. It's just something that is unfeasible without them being able to directly scan and target players individually in quantum travel versus what they have to do now. So that'll be incredibly important. The hauling categories, though, direct solar, mediums, and direct interstellar for the whole C are pretty much the best thing. And my route for junior and member, which isn't as important to everybody, but you'll be able to reference the stream, would be like Pyro to Bygenie, and then Terra, and then Aorus, then Port Tressler, then Magnus, then Seraphim, and then back to Pyro. That's how I was running the missions to kind of grind through those. But once you got to member, it made more sense just to stack the missions on something like a Cat or a Taurus to bust through that to get too experienced. And some other people have their methods too. But yeah, sorry. That was a lot. There'll probably be even more as I'm making the video. Let me get back into the chat a little bit here. There we go. We got our grid. I'm going to roll and vert strafe over because I have enough, or I have little enough cargo that I can actually roll properly, which is great. Bring us back to a stop here. Let's hit our park and brake. And what I mean by that is I'm just going coupled to try to hold us in place. And it seems like we're good. Yep, we're offloading. And she's loading. I see that progress bar. Woohoo! I actually really love the look of these 32s with the dusk livery. Another really big tip, guys, don't waste your time with the external elevators on planets right now. The outpost elevators where you touch down on a pad and it's right there. Because typically they'll go into a forever loading. You'll go to hit to bring the elevator up or down. It'll close and reopen. And then it'll just forever load. And both of them are broken anytime that happens. And you'll see just a mob of ships in the area too because everybody was trying to do it. And people get pissed and they'll leave their stuff there, which increases resource drain on the system. It's a real pain. Try to go to distribution centers in Stanton. You'll enjoy it a lot more. You'll have a lot less headache, especially once you're in member rank and you really have no choice but to do those sort of planetary grinds. Alright, gonna pull back further, engage our park and brake, do a little strafey action, and then hold. It's dropping! That's number 2, dude. We're empty! What? Looking at our grid to see if we're moving. Looks like we're actually stationary. Yeah, see, there's the box came back because I think it's registering us offloading as well. Let me double check. We should be good. Looks like, yeah, we got everything. I like to generally keep my thrust indicator pointing away from things I can run into, but sometimes you just really can't help it. We're dropping off and picking up. Ooh. Oh boy, this is actually a more important test than I was even thinking about. Because we're dropping off the 600 or so SCU and picking up 4,300. So, let's see how this goes. Oh, it's loading. Cargo transfer complete. Uh-oh. I had a little bit of issue last night where it was giving me the small stuff first, which worked against me. Oh, shoot. If that's an 8, I can't do the trick that I want to do. I was just going to bring it inside my ship, but that's a rather large box there. This one, I'm going to pull off. I don't know that it's the case, but I feel like when they do the small ones first, it causes an issue. I think the bigger issue might be that we have that load that we need to drop off here, which, for the sake of things, I might need to just abandon the current one that only gave us the 2. We'll just kind of toss this off to the side for time's sake. And then we'll try to drop off the 600. Because stacking these big missions might not be the way to do it. Yeah, if it was just a 1 or a 2, I'll like put them inside the ship here. And then try to load again. Because if the small ones load first, it might block the big ones. That's my speculation. I saw that somewhere in the comments on some video. We're going to abandon the big one that we're trying to pick up and just grab it again. And again, guys, abandoning still doesn't affect your rep. Partial submitting can. Abandoning hasn't. And just to show you, we just abandoned a big one. And I'm down to member. No, I'm just kidding. We're still looking good. Yeah, this was going to Terra. Oh, delivered 96 out of 608. Oh, it's going. It's going. Let's go. Oh, I'm so relieved. So now let's try to pick up the big one. And then look at that. Instantly getting this unloaded. Man, all right. I was worried because last night's PTU with all the server errors and hiccups, these missions were bugging out so hard that I couldn't get them done. And I was like, great. The experience missions are going to totally make me eat my words and look like an asshole because I've been saying that the whole C's working, the whole C's working. And now, thankfully, the update they did got rid of the server issues, and we're still seeing that reliability translate. Now, again, I'm going to probably add this to the whole to tips video. For these bigger missions, probably not something you want to stack. Even with just dropping off and picking up. As we just saw, it created an issue. It like dropped 2 of the small ones on. It didn't take off the load that I needed to drop. So, yeah, you know, be patient. Single run, add contract, single run, add contract. You know, do it that way. All right, we're going to take a peek back, make sure we're clear. We're going to wait for the ATC to pop up. That seemed to be a good indicator of when to hit the burn. There it is. we go. We're into about the 40s. Let's go ahead and rotate. Make sure we're not... Yeah, we're good decent distance enough away to not actually like, bump the station while rotating. Alright, we came in here kind of intentionally sloppy. Caddy cornered, and we're offloading. What's up? Take that cargo. It's funny how to take it off in segments. Like, it doesn't just take it off all from one spline in a row. It kind of, like, jumps around. It's interesting. Wow, our money is jumping up. I forget that these contracts make some decent scratch. Let's see. We probably get in, what, maybe 1 or 2 more before I gotta go? Oh, yeah, we gotta do our experience back from Magnus at Terra. There it is. So that's kind of our loop, man. And what is that? About 850k as a down and back, which hopefully with senior and master ranks it opens up a little bit more. I'm senior ranked in live, so it'd be cool to see what our options are there. I think there's one mission that's 711, so it's not much more. It's only like 13k more. We'll see. How does the whole C work? Am I able to load any cargo from my hangar? And if so, how do you get the box for pickup? So the personal side is something that I haven't, again, had a whole lot of experience with. What's going on, Tobias? From what I understand, from what my buddy Taylor was telling me, actually, is that you have to create like a work order or something. I have no idea how to do this. I need to mess with it. I plan to once this goes live, and I can mess with the personal stuff because I want to see what it's like to like have my buddies out there doing VHRTs, and I've got the whole C sitting there as basically a depot where they can just throw all the scrap and quantanium and all the goodies on board, and then we can go and get rid of it at the end of the day. But there are some extra steps, I think, to using your personal cargo and such, because you obviously can't load it manually. I think in the future when we get the vertical, outdoor, or external cargo hangars, that'll change. That'll be nice. But as for right now, this cargo grid is pretty much only used on the whole sea during hauling missions, or if you actually do the commodities trading where you spend your own money and then you send it to your ship. And once you send it to the whole sea, you get in your ship and then request loading, and you'll get that cargo grid and you can do your thing. So that is, what is that? 7 experience missions with no problems. Well, I say no problems, but we did technically have that slight issue with trying to stack the missions. So keep that in mind for anybody who's jumping back into this. Trying to stack the 2 experience missions was an issue. We had to abandon the load to be able to offload the one, but still, we had some pretty good down and backs here getting this done. That was really cool. And to not have any hiccups with dropping off the big ones and picking them up, I really hope, yeah, that's one we had to abandon because we were doing our double stack there. Super exciting though, man. And as always, it's really great to have you guys in the chat. If this goes live today, if the build goes to live today, I should say, I don't know that I'll live stream that, but I'll definitely be recording some content. I'll be making another video for the channel today, either VHRT cat video or maybe the member grind video. I don't know. Lots of content coming. Really appreciate all the early support. It's been awesome chatting with y'all. And yeah, I think with that, I'm going to bid you guys farewell. You guys have an awesome day, and enjoy your time in the verse. Take care.